Keep them covered with groceries.
After a fire did a lot of damage to this house, how firefighters stepped in to save the day for a teenager.
Conversations with her.
West Valley man also accused of using Snapchat to kidnap a woman police say has the mental capacity of a 9-year-old. 42-year-old Saneed Gandhi was arrested this week, accused of using a fake online persona to take his victim to multiple locations across the city. He allegedly refused to let his victim out of the car when he stopped. He's now facing charges of aggravated kidnapping and rape. Police are asking the judge in this case to deny him bail.
New numbers from the Crossroads Urban.
Just a minute.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Kevin. Major renovations are set for the Delta Center, and the project is expected to go for years. News Specialist Tamara Vaifanua joins us now with the details.
The Delta Center was originally
This traumatic mix-up.
and Sandy firefighters to the rescue to save a precious item for a local teen. That story when we come back.
Throughout this process.
When fire tore into a house in Sandy over the weekend, it put a teen's prom plans in jeopardy.
Yeah, no worries. Firefighters were there to save the day, as we learned from news specialist Andrew Adams. Andrew?
Well, first of all, firefighters got on top of the fire very quickly. In fact, they say if they hadn't as much, this place really could have been a total loss with how quickly the fire was spreading. But on top of that, there was a side story going on. There was a very important day for a teenager in the house. It was bad luck that this fire actually was hitting on prom night. So Zoe Hendrickson says her dress was still inside. Same for her shoes and boutonniere. Firefighters, when they got the fire under wraps, went back in, grabbed the shoes, which were pretty wet. They grabbed the boutonniere, which was in good shape, but the dress was highly smoke damaged. So Hendrickson says firefighters started calling around first to see if they could be dry clean, if the dress could be dry cleaned, and then if they could find the exact dress at the store, which they in fact did.
Yeah, it meant a lot to me. It was like really incredible that they were so concerned about something that was important to me and making sure I still had a good time when it seemed like other things would be important, like the fire, and obviously there's all the things they have to deal with and go through.
Firefighters say they were just glad they were able to make a difference beyond the obvious firefighting here. And Zoe, she said her prom experience was, quote, fire. Good sense of humor there. Now, coming up on KSL-5 News at 6:30, we'll show you what made that night just a little bit more fire. You'll have to see it to believe it. Stand by for that.
There you go. I think she also said it was lit, right? Both? Okay. Spring giving us a little bit of everything tonight at 6.
And higher electric bills coming this month for thousands of Utahns. Why the fees are less than Rocky Mountain Power hoped for.
All right, so finally tonight, another day.
And the forecast.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Kevin. A major renovation plan for the Delta Center. How it could impact folks in downtown Salt Lake City for the next few years. More on that coming up after the break.
And power is about to cost more for thousands of Utahns. Why it was not nearly as much as Rocky Mountain Power wanted. Next. June.
Rocky Mountain Power customers can now expect to see a higher electric bill this month, but not nearly as high as the company had hoped for. Public Service Commission of Utah granting part of a request here, increasing bills by 4.7%. That is compared to the more than 18% Rocky Mountain was actually seeking. Utah leaders say the decision was in favor of making sure Utahns are not paying for costs from other states like wildfire-related expenses in Oregon. State is looking at adding. Thanks.
And we'll be right back.
No, we got more coming up.
More
yeah,
coming up right now.
let me tell you about it,
we're
Jamie.
going to be right back after this.
Yeah, because at 6:30, there's prom plans that have been put into jeopardy after a fire tears through a home in Sandy. We're going to show you how firefighters saved the day. You don't want to miss it.
No. Plus, Pixar fans can.
You're watching KSL News at 6.
Firefighters save people, they save pets, and once in a while, they actually save prom.
Yes, they do. News specialist Andrew Adams learned about one fire team's good deed in Sandy. Andrew?
Well, just putting out the fire may have been good deed enough. I mean, this thing was raging. It was melting everything in sight, burned up the side of this house. But when crews recognized a teenager in need, they did the extra whatever they could to save the day.
We had a lot of things here.
When a fire burns like it did Saturday afternoon at the Hendrickson home, everything is in jeopardy.
My husband had a couple of aluminum ladders that were just
leaning against the house, and they're gone. They completely just melted.
The flames that spread from a shed burned so furiously that they hissed.
It got really hot and really bad because there was a lot of fuel around here. So lots of fuel, so it just went straight up.
Holly Hendrickson says the upstairs was just ravaged by the blaze that didn't want to stop.
When they came back the second time, the flames were like in the middle of the bed, like just like 3 or 4 feet high.
And somewhere in the middle of it all,
Yeah, it was always on my mind.
16-year-old Zoe knew her prom dress for Saturday night was inside and in danger.
In my mind, I was kind of like, well, prom doesn't really matter anymore.
She was more worried about the house, but once that got under control, we were like, Zoe, you can still go to the prom.
And that's when Sandy firefighters stepped in to help.
You can't miss prom, so started working with Mom and Dad and Zoe to figure out what can we do.
The boutonnieres and even the shoes were salvageable from the damage, but the smoky dress was another story.
We were able to replace the dress, found the local store where it was purchased that had the same size, and they were able to hold that.
Zoe was amazed.
Figured out which location we could pick it up at and the exact size and everything, so it was really nice.
The teen was dressed perfectly for her date and for whoever else she saw that night.
One of the managers came over during dinner and let our group know that Post Malone was there, and it was fire.
The family couldn't have been more grateful to firefighters.
They know what small things like that mean, and it meant a lot. It meant a lot to our family, and it meant a lot to Zoe.
They not only saved the day, but prom night as well.
They were amazing. They really were.
Well, the family says it'll be a while before they're able to move back home, but the prom night memories are intact, and Zoe will never forget those. Back to you guys.
Pretty great. Posties everywhere these days, isn't he? You can't go anywhere and you just run into them.
It really is.
All right, thank you.
I want my picture.
You'll get it.
All right, we're with Kevin now. And Kevin, we had that.
Is that $28 per person?
We'd have to check the website.
We have to find out.
Check
Yeah,
the website.
go look at the website.
Yes.
All right. Looking ahead right now as the ski season is closing up, Park City Mountain is getting ready to welcome visitors back for summer activities. They say starting June 7th, Utahns and tourists can enjoy its Village Adventure Park, and just a week later, activities at Canyons Village.
But don't look too far ahead because Brian had reserved.